In these sacred teachings, you will remember the forgotten truth. Your words shape your reality. This audiobook reveals how awakening the silent power within you can command the unseen forces of the universe. The time has come to speak your destiny into existence. The Inner Formula. Introduction. Through the veils of forgotten epochs, an ancient truth stirs. Your words are the architects of your reality, not through spectacle nor ritual, but through the sacred subtlety of conscious utterance. Carried across time by the unseen hands of mystics and illuminated minds, this wisdom now rises again to meet you on the threshold of your becoming. The universe heeds not the clamor of voices, but the vibration of certainty. Each word you shape breathes the essence of creation. When spoken with unwavering alignment, it weaves unseen threads that bind intention to existence. This is not mere poetry, but the primal law upon which the dance of manifestation is eternally spun. Within the quiet sanctuaries of solitude, where your voice mingles with the deep living silence, the most profound magic awakens. In these still moments, your whispered declarations ripple through the unseen lattice of reality, stirring currents that reshape the tapestry of your life. The ancients knew. It is not complexity that wields power, but purity. The singularity of focused, sovereign speech. Words, when aligned with the primordial laws, become bridges between the realm of thought and the material world, between yearning and fulfillment. You carry within your being this timeless force. It sleeps not. It waits, a coiled dragon of creation, longing for your conscious command. Through the unfolding chapters of the Inner Formula, you shall uncover the pathways to awaken and direct this force, not through striving, but through the artful alchemy of deliberate, aligned speech. This teaching emerges now because your spirit has signaled its readiness. Across lifetimes and lineages, the universe has guarded this key for you, knowing a moment would come when you would rise to claim your creative throne. That moment is now. Let each word of this text be a lantern, illuminating chambers of deep remembrance within your soul. For in reclaiming the sacred art of speaking with power, you reclaim your birthright, to be a conscious sculptor of reality, a luminous being moving in cadence with the infinite. Part 1. Awakening the Silent Power Within. Chapter 1. The Hidden Word. In a distant valley where ancient oaks whispered secrets to those who listened, lived a young man named Eli Whitaker. Each morning, he walked through a sacred grove where moss-covered stones held mysteries older than memory. One dawn, as golden light filtered through the leaves, he noticed something he had passed 1,000 times before, a single word carved into the heart of an aged oak. The marking was neither flesh nor completely weathered, as if time itself had preserved its message. Abundance. From that day forward, Eli whispered this word each morning in the grove. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, his fortunes began to shift. The barren field he had inherited bloomed unexpectedly. Opportunities arose as naturally as dew forms on morning grass. The word had awakened something ancient and powerful within the fabric of his world. You must understand that words are not mere sounds that dissolve into air. They are seeds of creation, carrying within them the very essence of manifestation. When you speak, you are not simply expressing thoughts. You are encoding commands into the universal field that surrounds you. Each word carries a frequency, a vibration that ripples through the invisible realm where all possibilities dwell. In a distant city, a seamstress named Sadie Mae Caldwell discovered this truth in her own way. As she stitched fine garments for wealthy patrons, she began a secret practice. Into each seam she would whisper a blessing, a word of power, prosperity. With each stitch, she wove this intention into the fabric of her reality. Within a year, her small shop transformed into the most sought-after establishment in the city. Her customers spoke of feeling inexplicably fortunate while wearing her creations, never knowing that each garment carried a silent decree of abundance. Just as Sadie Mae stitched her intentions into fabric, your words weave themselves into the tapestry of your experience. The power lies not in volume, but in the quiet certainty with which you speak. Like seeds planted in fertile soil, words spoken in silence hold the greatest power to bloom into manifest reality. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, choose one word that represents your deepest aspiration. In the sacred space between wakefulness and dreams, whisper this word 3 times. Let it be your final conscious act, releasing it into the fertile void of night, where all possibilities take root. This ancient practice, passed down through countless generations, plants your intention in the rich soil of universal consciousness, where it will grow into the garden of your tomorrow. Chapter 2. The Sacred Art of Repetition. Let me share with you the tale of Calvin Hargrove, whose understanding of sacred repetition transformed not just his fields, but the very soil of his soul. In the quietest corner of his drought-stricken farm, Calvin discovered an ancient practice passed down through generations of tillers of the earth. Each morning before sunrise, he would walk his barren fields, whispering the same blessing. This land flows with abundance. Day after day, in the face of cracked earth and withered hopes, his voice remained steady, faithful. The universe responds not to the volume of your declaration, but to the unwavering rhythm of your devotion. As Calvin discovered, each repetition of his blessing carved deeper channels in the unseen realm, like water slowly shaping stone. After 40 days, green shoots emerged from soil that experts had declared dead. By harvest time, his fields yielded crops that defied explanation. You see, repetition is not mere mechanical practice. It is the sacred hammer that shapes ethereal substance into physical form. Each time you repeat a truth, you strengthen its reality in the universal matrix. Think of it as threading golden light through the fabric of existence, each pass making the pattern more vivid, more real. Consider Pearl Winslow, who worked among the whispers of countless books. In her quiet corner of the library, she began speaking 7 words each morning. My life unfolds in perfect divine order. She would repeat this gentle affirmation while shelving books, marking due dates, and helping visitors. No one heard her words but the universe itself. Within months, opportunities began appearing like chapters in a well-crafted story. A chance meeting led to romance, a forgotten manuscript revealed a new career path, and her life transformed with the elegant precision of carefully arranged words on a page. Your words, repeated with devotion, become the music the universe dances to. Each repetition adds another note to the symphony of your manifestation. This is why ancient traditions have always emphasized the power of mantras and sacred chants. They understood that repetition is the language of creation itself. Now, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed, a sacred corner where your voice can merge with the whispers of the universe. Choose one affirmation that resonates with the deepest truth of your desire, the words that sing to your soul like a forgotten melody, finally remembered. Speak it 100 times, letting each repetition sink deeper into the fertile soil of universal consciousness, each word a seed planted in the infinite field of possibility. Whisper it with the same reverence Calvin held for his fields, with the same quiet certainty Pearl found among her books. Feel each word taking root in the garden of your becoming, transforming from mere sounds into living energy that pulses with creative force. Let your voice become the instrument through which the universe shapes your reality. Each repetition, a brush stroke, painting the masterpiece of your transformation. Chapter 3. Vibration. Let me share with you the wisdom of Amos Everett, whose understanding of sacred vibration emerged from the rhythmic pulse of his forge. In the heart of a mountain valley, Amos worked his metal with methodical precision, each strike of his hammer sending waves of sound echoing through the air. As twilight approached one evening, he noticed something remarkable. The resonance of his work continued long after he had ceased, as if the very atmosphere held the memory of each strike. The universe speaks in vibrations. Every word you utter sends ripples through the fabric of creation, like stones cast upon still waters. These ripples carry the essence of your intention, shaped by the force of feeling behind them. When Amos observed his forge's lingering song, he glimpsed a fundamental truth. Sound shapes substance, and feeling amplifies form. Your words must carry the weight of genuine emotion to manifest their power. Empty declarations fall flat against the walls of reality, but words charged with authentic feeling penetrate the very matrix of creation. This is why ancient masters taught that it is not enough to speak your desire. You must feel it resonate in every cell of your being. In a small kitchen bathed in morning light, Clara Bell Ramsey discovered this truth through her daily bread-making ritual. As she kneaded each loaf, she would sing blessings of abundance and joy into the dough. Not content with mere words, she poured her entire heart into every note, feeling the vibration of gratitude pulse through her hands into the simple ingredients before her. Those who tasted Clara Bell's bread often spoke of an inexplicable warmth that seemed to fill not just their stomachs, but their spirits. Some claimed her loaves brought good fortune. Others said they could taste the love baked into every slice. What they felt was the vibration of her blessing, made manifest through the alchemy of her devotion. The secret lies not in the words themselves, but in the feeling tone that carries them into the universe. When you speak your formula, let it resonate with the full spectrum of your emotion. Feel it as truth already manifested, as reality already shaped by the power of your charged declaration. Now, find a quiet space where your voice can flow freely. Take your chosen formula and allow it to rise from the depths of your being. Chant it with the same focused intention that guided Amos's hammer, with the same loving devotion Clara Bell poured into her bread. Feel each syllable vibrate through your body, rippling outward into the infinite field of possibility. Let your words carry the full weight of your belief, knowing that the universe must respond to the frequency of your faith. Chapter 4. The Power of the Secret Voice. In a quiet corner of the world where time moved at its own gentle pace, lived Walter Finch, a master of timepieces. Each morning, as dawn painted the sky in hushed colors, he would enter his workshop and begin his sacred ritual. Taking each delicate gear in hand, he would whisper ancient blessings into the metal before setting it in place. His movements were precise, but it was his whispered prayers that truly brought the watches to life. Those who wore Walter's timepieces often found that important moments stretched exactly as needed. A crucial meeting would last until understanding was reached. A cherished reunion would seem to pause just long enough for hearts to fully connect. The secret lay not in the precision of his craftsmanship, but in the power of his private devotions. You see, true power flows not from what is proclaimed to the world, but from what is uttered in sacred solitude. When you declare your intentions before others, you scatter the energy like seeds in the wind. But when you speak your truth in the quiet sanctuary of privacy, you concentrate that power into a focused beam of creative force. In the warmth of spring, Josephine Langley discovered this wisdom in her garden. Her neighbors had watched her previous attempts at cultivation wither. Despite her best efforts and loudest proclamations of success, then she learned the art of the secret whisper. Each morning, before the world stirred, she would kneel beside her seed beds and murmur words of life directly into the soil. Her lips nearly touching the earth, she would speak to each seed as if sharing a precious secret. As weeks passed, her garden transformed. Plants that had refused to thrive now reached toward the sky with unexpected vigor. Flowers bloomed with unusual brilliance. Vegetables grew with remarkable abundance. When asked about her methods, Josephine would simply smile, knowing that her true power lay in those private moments of communion with her garden. This truth echoes through the ages. What is spoken in secret carries the greatest force. The universe responds most powerfully to those intentions voiced away from the clamor of the world in moments of sacred solitude. Today, seek out a private space, perhaps a quiet room, a secluded garden, or any place where you can be truly alone. There, speak your sacred formula as if sharing a treasured secret with the universe itself. Let your words carry the weight of genuine conviction, knowing that in this intimate silence, your intention gains its greatest power. This is not a practice of isolation, but of sacred concentration. For in solitude, your word becomes law. Chapter 5. The First Stirring of Alignment. In the misty harbor of a coastal town, Rufus McAllister crafted vessels that carried others to distant shores, while his own dreams of adventure remained anchored to the shore. Each day he shaped sturdy hulls and graceful masts, speaking words of safe passage into every beam and bolt. Yet his own heart remained tethered to familiar docks, bound by the ropes of someday and if only. Until one dawn, as sea spray painted the air with salt, Rufus discovered the art of true alignment. Instead of forcing his will against the tide of circumstance, he learned to let his words flow like water, carrying his dreams on their current. He ceased struggling against what was and began surrendering to what could be. With each ship he built, he now whispered not just blessings for others, but acknowledgments of his own journey unfolding. You see, alignment is not a battle to be won, but a dance to be joined. The universe already moves in response to your words. Your task is simply to flow with the currents they create. When you speak in harmony with your deepest yearnings, you are not pushing against reality, but allowing it to reshape itself around your truth. Nancy Jo Wheeler understood this principle in her tiny bookstore, tucked between larger shops on Main Street. Where others saw limited space, she envisioned a sanctuary of literary abundance. Instead of fighting market forces or competing with larger stores, she aligned her words with her vision of prosperity. Each morning, before opening her doors, she would walk through the narrow aisles, touching each shelf while speaking words of abundance and growth. She didn't force change. She allowed it. Her gentle alignments began creating subtle shifts. Regular customers brought friends. Perfect opportunities appeared at precisely the right moments, and her little store became known as a haven of literary treasures. The space itself seemed to expand, not through physical renovation, but through the power of aligned intention. Your own alignment begins with this same gentle surrender. The words you speak have already set forces in motion. Now, let them carry you forward. Rather than pushing against what is, allow your inner speech to guide you naturally toward what will be. Find a quiet moment now, away from the noise and demands of the world. Speak your chosen formula with calm conviction while imagining golden currents of energy flowing around you, drawing you effortlessly toward your desire. Feel these invisible streams supporting and guiding you, their gentle power lifting you like a leaf carried on a sacred river. Know that alignment is not effort, but acceptance of the path your words have created. Let your entire being relax into this divine current, trusting that the universe responds to your inner speech with perfect timing and infinite wisdom. The ancient ones understood this secret, that surrender to these cosmic forces brings more power than struggle ever could. Chapter 6. The Eternal Pact of Thought and Word. In the quiet hills of an ancient valley, a wandering preacher named Harlan Tate carried nothing but a worn leather satchel and the power of unified thought and word. As he traveled from village to village, those who crossed his path noticed that the weather seemed to bend to his quiet prayers, and healing followed his softly spoken blessings. You see, Harlan had discovered what the wisest of the ages knew, that when thought and spoken words merge into perfect harmony, the universe responds with swift precision. As he walked the dusty roads between settlements, his mind and voice worked as one instrument, each thought finding immediate expression through his words. When you fragment your energy between what you think and what you speak, you create ripples of contradiction in the cosmic substance. But when you bring these forces into alignment, you tap into the original power that shaped worlds. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the science of unified creation. Consider the tale of Minnie Lou Harper, who had carried the weight of illness for 7 long seasons. In her small cottage at the edge of a maple grove, she learned to harmonize her thoughts with her spoken affirmations. Each morning, she would first hold in her mind the image of vibrant health, letting it fill her consciousness completely. Then, with unwavering conviction, she would speak words that matched this inner vision. I am whole, I am well, I am strength itself. Gradually, the color returned to her cheeks, and vitality flowed back into her limbs. Her healing came not from divided efforts, not from thoughts that hoped while words that doubted, but from the perfect marriage of inner vision and outer declaration. This unity of thought and word is your divine inheritance. When you think one thing but speak another, you scatter your creative force. But when you align your inner convictions with your spoken formulas, you create a channel through which universal power flows unobstructed. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. First, form in your mind the clearest possible image of what you desire. Feel it, see it, know it as real. Hold this thought until it fills your entire consciousness. Then, with this vision burning bright within, speak your chosen formula aloud. Let each word carry the full weight of your inner conviction. Repeat this unified declaration 3 times, feeling the perfect harmony between your thought and speech. This is the art of unified creation, where thought and word become one living force. Chapter 7. Builders of the Unseen World. In the mists of a mountain valley, Jedediah Boone would rise before dawn, unfurling his architectural drawings beneath the stars. Yet his greatest works were not sketched on paper, but woven from the invisible substance of faith through his daily affirmations. Each morning, he would stand in an empty field and speak of soaring spires and marble halls that existed only in his heart. The townspeople thought him touched by madness, until the day the foundations were laid for what would become the grandest cathedral the region had ever known. You too are an architect of the unseen. Every word you speak is a blueprint drawn in the ethers, a sacred design that the universe must eventually render visible. Your current circumstances, your home, your relationships, your achievements, all began as invisible architectures shaped by your past declarations. The words you whisper today are already forming the foundations of tomorrow's reality. The ancient masters understood that creation always moves from invisible to visible, from the word to the world. When you grasp this truth, you realize that your spoken formulas are not mere hopes cast into the void. They are spiritual specifications that the universal intelligence must follow. In the fertile valleys of the heartland, Flora May Patterson discovered this principle through years of quiet dedication. Each morning before sunrise, she would walk the boundaries of her struggling farm, blessing every acre with words of abundance. While others saw only dusty fields, she spoke of rich harvests and verdant pastures. Season after season, she maintained her practice, even as neighbors questioned her sanity. Then slowly, almost imperceptibly, the land began to transform. The soil grew richer, the crops more abundant, until her farm became the most prosperous in the county. Her story reveals the perfect law. What you bless in the unseen realm must eventually manifest in the seen. Your words are not lost in the wind. They are building materials in the hands of universal intelligence. The conditions you see around you today are but echoes of words spoken in your past. Speak new words consistently, and you design new worlds inevitably. Ancient practice. Find a quiet place where you can be alone. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing in a sacred space of your own creation. As you speak your chosen formula, see each word as a gleaming stone being laid in an invisible temple of light. Feel the walls rising around you with each repetition. Sense the dome of power forming overhead. Continue until you can feel yourself standing within the completed temple of your word. This is not mere imagination. It is spiritual architecture in its purest form. What you build in consciousness today, the universe will build in substance tomorrow. Chapter 8. Ritual of the First Awakening. In a small workshop lit by dancing shadows, Burl Weston crafted candles with weathered hands. Each evening, as twilight painted the sky in violet hues, he would light a single white taper and whisper his deepest hopes into the flame. Night after night, he performed this sacred act, speaking of prosperity and abundance while the wax slowly melted. Though his shop was modest, customers began reporting that his candles burned with unusual brightness, lasting far longer than ordinary ones. Soon, nobility from distant lands sought his creations, drawn by an inexplicable luminescence that seemed to warm not just rooms, but hearts. You must understand that ritual is not mere repetition. It is the art of creating sacred space in time. When you pair your words with meaningful ceremony, you forge a connection to the infinite. Each gesture, each moment of silence, becomes a bridge between the seen and unseen realms. Your spoken formula, when wrapped in the cloth of ritual, carries the weight of ancient power. In the gentle hills beyond town lived Millie Sue Gardner, whose garden flourished when others withered. Under each full moon, she would take her seedlings outside, arranging them in a perfect circle. As silver light bathed the earth, she would whisper blessings into each seed before planting. Her neighbors marveled at how her flowers bloomed brighter, her vegetables grew larger, and her herbs carried stronger healing properties. Yet they never witnessed her midnight ceremonies, never knew how she had learned to weave moonlight into her words. What these tales reveal is profound, yet simple. Ritual creates a magnetic field around your intentions. When you establish sacred space and time for your declarations, you signal to the universe that these words carry special power. Like a lens focusing scattered light into a powerful beam, ritual concentrates your spiritual energy into a force that shapes reality. Ancient practice. Find a quiet corner in your home where you will not be disturbed. Place a single white candle before you. As darkness falls, light the candle with reverence. Sit in silence until you feel the sacred stillness envelop you. Then, with the flame as your witness, speak your chosen formula 3 times, first in a whisper, then in your normal voice, and finally in your heart. Let the candle burn for a few minutes as you hold the feeling of your words in your being. Perform this ritual nightly, and watch as your words begin to illuminate new pathways in your life. Chapter 9. Belief. In the quiet hours before dawn, Obadiah Nash would sit at his work bench, surrounded by half-finished inventions and scattered blueprints. His hands, stained with ink and oil, would trace designs that existed first in his imagination. For years, his creations remained incomplete, not because they lacked ingenuity, but because doubt shadowed his vision. You see, the universe responds not to what you say, but to what you believe. Your words must carry the weight of absolute certainty, must vibrate with the energy of completion. When Obadiah finally understood this truth, he began speaking to his inventions as though they already existed, addressing them in the present tense, feeling their reality in his bones. The invisible world holds every possibility in perfect suspension, waiting for the catalyst of your belief to crystallize it into form. Your task is not to force manifestation, but to align your inner knowing with the outcome you desire. Every word you speak must resonate with the conviction of something already accomplished. In a distant valley, Luella Hart faced a devastating drought that threatened to destroy her community's crops. While others prayed desperately for rain, she walked the parched fields each morning, speaking to the clouds as though they were already heavy with moisture. She felt the cool drops on her skin before a single cloud appeared. Her words carried the certainty of thunder, and the skies could not help but respond. The power of belief transforms your words from mere sounds into divine commands. When you speak with the authority of one who knows, not hopes, not wishes, but knows, the universe moves to match your conviction. This is not blind faith, but rather the deepest recognition of how reality shapes itself around your beliefs. Through Luella's story, you glimpse the perfect law at work. Her unwavering belief created a bridge between the visible and invisible worlds. The rain came not because she asked, but because she knew. This same power dwells within you, waiting to be awakened through conscious use. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and speak your chosen formula, but this time, infuse each word with the feeling of completion. Experience your desire as already fulfilled. Let your body relax into the certainty of possession. Speak not as one who wishes, but as one who has already received. Feel the reality of your words in every cell of your being. This is not pretense. It is the activation of universal law. Chapter 10. Your word is the unbreakable law. In a small town hall filled with dusty records and fading papers, Virgil Monroe sat at his simple wooden desk. Each morning he would arrive before sunrise, pull out his ledger, and whisper quiet declarations into the stillness. What began as humble affirmations soon revealed a profound truth. Every word he spoke was being recorded in a ledger far greater than his own. You possess this same authority, though you may have forgotten it. Your every utterance is law to the universe, which stands ready to execute your spoken commands with perfect precision. When you grasp this truth, you will understand why your current circumstances reflect your past declarations with such exactness. The universe does not evaluate your words, it simply obeys them. Like a faithful servant, it responds to what you decree, not what you wish or hope for. Your words are not mere sounds dissipating in the air. They are commands that set universal forces into motion. In a distant valley, Cora Bell Jenkins lay in her sickbed, doctors having given up hope for her recovery. Yet each morning and night she would declare with unwavering certainty, "I am whole, I am well, I am strong." She did not beg or plead. She did not say, "I will be," or "I hope to be." She spoke as one who knew her word was law. Within months, her health returned, leaving her physicians mystified. What you witness in Cora Bell's story is not a miracle. It is law. The universe responded not to her desire for health, but to her unshakable declarations of health. This is the hidden power you hold. Your word, spoken with authority, becomes the law that reality must follow. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can stand tall, feet planted firmly on the ground, your body aligned with the ancient power that flows through all things. Speak your chosen formula not as a wish or a prayer, but as divine law. an immutable truth that has existed since the dawn of time. Feel each word resonating through your body like waves of light, knowing that the universe has no choice but to conform to your decree. Let your voice carry the quiet authority of one who understands that their word is final, absolute, and already done. In this sacred moment, you become one with the creative force that shapes worlds, your declaration echoing through the chambers of eternity. Part 2. Deepening the Sacred Practice. Chapter 11. The Inner Formula Unveiled. In a dimly lit study lined with ancient texts, Ezekiel Pratt discovered a leather-bound manuscript, its chapters brittle with age. As he traced the faded script with trembling fingers, a single phrase caught his eye, words so simple yet charged with otherworldly power that the very air seemed to shimmer as he whispered them aloud. You now stand where Ezekiel once stood, at the threshold of power that transcends ordinary understanding. The formula you seek is not complex. Its power lies not in elaborate construction, but in the pure intention behind its utterance. Like a skeleton key that opens all doors, this sacred phrase, when spoken with reverence and protected in silence, unlocks the invisible vaults of creation. The universe responds not to complexity but to clarity. When you speak your chosen words with pure intent, you tap into the same creative force that spins galaxies and shapes worlds. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the activation of an ancient technology of consciousness, waiting to be remembered. In a modest farmhouse, Hattie Mae Dunlap rose before dawn each morning to speak 7 simple words. She wrote them first in her heart, then breathed them into the quiet darkness. She guarded these words as one would guard precious jewels, sharing them with no one. Within a season, her family's fortunes shifted like wind-blown wheat. Their debts dissolved, their harvests doubled, their joy multiplied, all through the power of her faithful invocation. What Hattie Mae discovered was not chance, but law. Her chosen phrase became a living force, a seed planted in fertile cosmic soil. Each morning's utterance watered this seed until it could not help but bloom into physical form. The formula you choose must be treated as a living entity, a sacred companion on your journey of transformation. It is not mere words strung together, but a key fashioned from the substance of creation itself. When you write it, you give it a form. When you speak it, you give it life. When you guard it in silence, you give it power. Sacred practice. Take a fresh piece of parchment or paper. In solitude, with reverence, write your chosen formula by hand. As you form each letter, know you are crafting a key to unlock new dimensions of possibility. Once written, hold the parchment to your heart in silence for several moments. Then place it somewhere private, where only you will see it. This act of writing and consecrating creates a bridge between the seen and unseen worlds, through which your words may travel and return as manifest reality. Chapter 12. The First 10 Recitations. In the quiet hours before sunrise, Clinton Abernathy would kneel in his workshop, running his hands over freshly cut timber. While others saw only wooden beams, he understood a deeper truth, that every masterpiece begins unseen, in the sacred space of preparation. You too must grasp this timeless principle. Just as Clinton whispered blessings into each foundation stone he laid, knowing they would one day support grand structures, your initial utterances create the invisible framework of your desires. These first 10 recitations are not mere repetitions. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. The universe operates through immutable law. What appears sudden to others is merely the visible flowering of patient, hidden work. Your early words, spoken with devotion rather than desperation, lay foundations stronger than steel and stone. Each utterance sends roots deeper into the soil of creation. Consider Mabel Florence Cotter, whose garden remained barren earth long after she began blessing her seeds each morning. While neighbors questioned her daily ritual of speaking to seemingly lifeless soil, she continued her tender devotions. When spring arrived, her garden erupted in impossible abundance, flowers of such vibrancy and vitality that people traveled from distant towns to witness the miracle. This mirrors your own journey with the sacred formula. The power lies not in forcing growth, but in gentle persistence. Like Mabel, you must trust the invisible processes your words initiate. The universe responds not to demand, but to devoted tending. Your spoken words are living things. They require the same patience you would give to any growing thing, neither neglecting them nor anxiously digging them up to check their progress. Let each repetition be a calm affirmation of your trust in divine timing. Your practice now becomes clear. As the sun rises and again as it sets, find a quiet moment to speak your formula 10 times. Approach these recitations not as one who demands, but as one who plants with loving care. Feel each word sink into the fertile field of infinite possibility. Trust that these humble beginnings contain within them the full power of what is to come. This twice-daily ritual becomes your sacred seed-planting ceremony. Speak each word with the tender reverence of one who understands that mighty oaks begin as whispered acorns. The world may not yet see what you are creating, but like Clinton's hidden foundations and Mabel's buried seeds, your words are already at work in the unseen realm, preparing to manifest in ways that will astonish those who doubted. Chapter 13. Faith and Feeling. In the mists of time, where sea meets sky in endless communion, stood Roscoe Tinsley's lighthouse. Night after night, he would climb the winding stairs to his solitary post, not merely to tend the great beam that cut through darkness, but to sing. His voice carried on salt-laden winds, guided ships through treacherous waters with an otherworldly accuracy that defied explanation. You now stand at a similar crossroads of power. The ancient formula you hold requires more than mere utterance. It demands the twin forces that moved mountains since time immemorial: belief and feeling. These are the keys that transform ordinary words into commands the universe must obey. When Roscoe sang into the fog, he felt in his very bones the safety of each sailor, the warmth of their eventual homecoming. His belief burned brighter than any lighthouse beam. The ships, responding to this unseen force, found their way as if drawn by invisible hands. This is the mystery you must now embrace, that words powered by absolute faith and genuine feeling become living forces in the universe. Beulah Agnes Strong discovered this truth in the depths of her despair. After loss had shattered her world, she began speaking words of healing each morning. But it was only when she infused these utterances with deep gratitude, feeling thankful for the joy yet to come, that transformation began. Her heart, once broken, became a vessel of such light that others were healed merely by entering her presence. The universe responds not to the words themselves, but to the feeling tones that accompany them. When you speak your formula, it must surge with the electricity of absolute conviction. Each syllable should pulse with the joy of your desire already fulfilled. This is not pretense. It is the very science of manifestation. Your practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed, a sacred sanctuary where the whispers of the world cannot intrude. Close your eyes and summon the feeling of your desire fulfilled, not as a future hope, but as a present reality vibrating through every fiber of your being. Let gratitude fill every cell of your being, washing through you like golden light until you overflow with appreciation. Now, with this emotional current flowing through you like a mighty river of possibility, speak your formula with unwavering conviction. Let each word ride upon waves of joy and certainty, carried forth by the power of your absolute knowing. Feel the truth of it in your very bones, resonating in the depths of your soul. Just as Roscoe felt the safety of his ships, just as Beulah felt the wholeness of her healed heart. Your words must become one with your deepest truth, inseparable from your very essence. Repeat this practice while maintaining the same intensity of feeling and faith, allowing each repetition to strengthen the bridge between your current reality and the manifestation that awaits. Chapter 14. The Gathering Momentum. High above the town square, Sylvester Boone climbed the worn steps of his clock tower each morning before dawn. For 30 years, his hands had lovingly tended the ancient mechanism, winding the gears that marked time for all below. Some questioned his dedication. Surely the tower could survive a missed day. But Sylvester knew better. He understood that each turn of the key built upon all the turns before it, creating a momentum that kept perfect time through storms and sunshine alike. You too are building such momentum with each sacred utterance of your formula. Like the steady click of Sylvester's gears, your words are accumulating power in the unseen realms. The universe responds not to sporadic bursts of enthusiasm, but to the unwavering rhythm of devoted practice. Each repetition adds its force to those that came before, creating an unstoppable current of manifestation. In the quietest corner of her small house, Dorothy Lou Carver sat at her loom each morning. As her shuttle wove back and forth, she sang soft blessings into every thread. At first, nothing changed in her modest circumstances. Yet she continued day after day, weaving her intentions into the very fabric of reality. Gradually, unexpected opportunities appeared. A wealthy patron here, a fortuitous connection there. Within a year, her simple weaving business had transformed into a thriving enterprise, her blessings made manifest in every stitch. Your own practice follows this same pattern. Like Dorothy Lou's patient weaving, your repeated words are breaking down invisible barriers, creating new pathways in the fabric of possibility. What appears as empty air is actually fertile ground, receiving the seeds of your intentions. Progress moves first through unseen dimensions before emerging into physical form. The power of your practice lies not in perfection, but in persistence. Each recitation builds upon the last, creating a foundation for miracles. Your task now is to honor this accumulation of power. Take a bowl of stones, shells, or seeds. After completing each set of recitations, place one token in a special vessel. Watch as these physical markers grow, reflecting the invisible momentum of your practice. This simple act acknowledges the power building in the unseen, soon to emerge in the seen. Practice. Select small objects that speak to your soul, perhaps smooth river stones, pristine shells, or seeds full of potential. After each complete set of your formula's recitation, mindfully place one token in a consecrated bowl or jar. Let these tokens become physical testimony to your growing power, a visible reminder of the invisible force you are accumulating. Chapter 15. The Whispered Way. In the depths of night, when the world lies wrapped in shadow, Abner Hollis walks his solitary rounds through empty streets. His footsteps echo softly as he hums, melodies passed down through generations, not to break the silence, but to commune with it. For in these quiet hours, he has discovered a profound truth. The universe listens most intently when we speak most gently. You now stand at the threshold of an ancient understanding, that the softest utterance carries the greatest power. Like a secret shared between lovers, your whispered word travels deeper into the heart of creation than any thunderous declaration. The universe bends close to catch your quietest intention, for in that gentle breath lies the purest expression of your soul's desire. When you shout your wishes to the world, they scatter like startled birds, but when you whisper them with reverence, they sink like seeds into fertile soil. This is the way of power that few have understood. The quieter your voice, the more the universe strains to hear it. The more intimate your expression, the more universal its echo becomes. Consider how Velma Ruth Diggs transformed her circumstances through whispered devotion. Each night she would sit by her window and breathe her dreams into the darkness. She did not demand or plead. Instead, she shared her heart's longing as one would share a precious secret with a trusted friend. Soon, unexpected doors began to open. Strangers appeared bearing opportunities. Resources emerged from hidden quarters. The universe had heard her whispers and mobilized unseen forces in response. Your words need not pierce the heavens to move them. They need only be spoken with such gentle conviction that they bypass the guards of doubt and plant themselves directly in the soil of infinite possibility. When you whisper your formula, you speak not to the surface of life, but to its very essence. You commune not with appearances, but with the power that shapes them. For your practice, find a place of perfect stillness. Let your voice become as soft as falling snow, each word a delicate crystal of intention. Whisper your formula so quietly that even you must strain to hear it. Feel how this gentleness allows your words to penetrate deeper into the fabric of reality, like dew soaking into thirsty earth. In this sacred softness, you will discover that the universe draws nearest when we speak in whispers. Chapter 16. The Traveler and the Secret Winds. In the ancient scrolls there lives a tale of Levi Cordell, a wanderer who learned the secret language of the winds. Each dawn he would stand atop the highest dune, whispering his intentions to the morning breeze. At first the winds paid no heed, sweeping past him as they had done for millennia. Yet Levi persisted, speaking his truth day after day, until the very air began to shift in recognition of his voice. Through scorching days and frozen nights, Levi maintained his practice. He spoke not with desperation, but with the quiet certainty of one who knows the universe must eventually respond. When storms threatened his path, he would face them directly. softly declaring his intentions until the fierce winds gentled around him like tamed beasts. You now stand where Levi once stood, heir to this timeless wisdom. The power he wielded flows not from force, but from faithful repetition. Each word you speak sends ripples through the invisible realm, gathering strength with every utterance. Like Levi, you need only persist in your practice, knowing that the universe holds every whispered word in its vast memory. The teachings reveal that nature itself responds to patient dedication. Just as water shapes stone not through violence but through constant gentle flow, your consistent declarations reshape the very fabric of reality. The winds that once ignored Levi became his allies, not because he mastered them, but because he aligned himself with their ancient rhythms through unwavering devotion. This truth awaits your discovery. The forces of creation bow not to those who shout, but to those who speak with quiet persistence. Each repetition of your formula sends forth invisible threads that weave themselves into the tapestry of manifestation. Sacred practice. Find a place where the wind touches your face, perhaps a hilltop, an open field, or even a quiet garden where nature's breath flows freely. Stand in perfect stillness, feeling its gentle caress against your skin, like the whispers of ancient wisdom. Now, speak your formula to the air, not as one begging for favor, but as one sharing truth with a trusted friend who has waited eternally to hear your voice. Let each word float upon the breeze with quiet confidence, knowing that the winds carry your intentions to the furthest reaches of creation, weaving them into the very fabric of existence. Continue this sacred communion until you feel the air responding to your voice, until you sense the subtle shift as the winds begin to dance with your words, acknowledging your presence as they once acknowledged Levi's faithful declarations. In this moment of divine connection, you become one with the eternal forces that shape reality itself. Chapter 17. Doubt. In the depths of the Ozark Mountains, Milton Graves stood at the entrance of his mine each morning, his weathered hands gripping a lantern that cast long shadows across the rocky ground. For 30 years, he had searched these tunnels, following whispers of gold that always seemed just beyond his reach. Each failed attempt etched new lines of doubt across his face. You see, doubt is not your enemy. It is the guardian at the threshold of your greatest manifestations. Like Milton, you may feel its weight pressing against your chest, testing the strength of your resolve. Yet what appears as an obstacle is truly an initiation. The universe operates through an ancient law. That which is most deeply desired must first be most deeply tested. Your doubts do not negate your power, they refine it. Each time you choose to speak your sacred formula, despite uncertainty, you forge spiritual steel within your soul. Milton discovered this truth one fateful dawn. After nearly abandoning his search, he began speaking words of certainty into the darkness. The gold exists. It draws me closer each day. At first, his voice trembled with disbelief, but he continued, day after day, until his words carried the weight of law. Within months, his pick struck a vein richer than any in the territory's history. Consider also Maybelline Carter, whose small bakery teetered on the edge of closure. Night after night, she whispered affirmations of prosperity while kneading her bread, even as bills mounted and customers dwindled. On the very morning she had decided to close her doors forever, a wealthy merchant tasted her goods and ordered enough to save her business tenfold. Your doubts are not signs of unworthiness. They are the final guardians before breakthrough. When they arise, welcome them as sacred messengers preparing you for power. Every master before you walked through this same valley of uncertainty. What separated them was not the absence of doubt, but their willingness to speak truth despite it. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Allow your doubts to surface fully. Do not resist them. Feel their presence without judgment. Then, with calm certainty, speak your formula 3 times. Let each repetition carry more authority than the last, knowing that your words cut through doubt like sunlight through morning mist. Your declaration rises above uncertainty, not because uncertainty is absent, but because your truth is greater. Chapter 18. Signs and Synchronicities. In the midst of an autumn morning, Horace Langston mounted his horse to begin his daily postal route through winding mountain paths. Each morning before sunrise, he would whisper his heart's deepest yearnings into the cool air, letting them drift like seeds on the wind. At first, nothing seemed to change until he began noticing peculiar patterns. You must understand that the universe's first responses come as gentle touches, like ripples on still water. When Horace spoke of prosperity, he found extra coins beneath fallen leaves. When he whispered of connection, familiar faces appeared at unexpected turns in the road. These were not mere coincidences, but the first echoes of a greater symphony beginning to play. The great mind always answers, first in whispers, then in declarations. These early signs are sacred messages, written in the language of synchronicity. They appear as unexpected meetings, overheard conversations that speak directly to your heart, or small gifts that carry deeper meaning. Each one confirms that your words have been heard and the wheels of creation have begun to turn. Consider Eunice Belford, who blessed her empty parlor each evening with visions of friendship and community. For weeks, nothing changed, until a letter arrived from a childhood friend passing through town. Then came a visit from a cousin she hadn't seen in years, bearing exactly the guidance she had secretly needed. One by one, forgotten connections renewed themselves, each bringing a piece of her unspoken prayers into manifestation. These subtle signs are the universe's way of nodding in acknowledgement of your spoken word. Like distant thunder before rain, they herald greater manifestations to come. Your task is not to demand immediate fulfillment, but to notice and honor these first gentle responses. The secret lies in recognizing that even the smallest synchronicity carries cosmic significance. When you speak your formula into the silence, know that it ripples outward through invisible fields, returning first as quiet confirmations, before manifesting as visible change. Sacred practice. Obtain a blank journal dedicated solely to recording signs and synchronicities. Each evening, write down every subtle confirmation you notice throughout your day, a meaningful coincidence, an unexpected alignment, a helpful encounter, a whispered word that echoes your intentions. Date each entry, describing not just what occurred, but how it connects to your spoken formula. Note the emotions that arose within you when these signs appeared, for they too are messengers from the infinite. This practice will attune your awareness to the universe's first responses, strengthening your faith in the power of your words. As your journal fills with these sacred observations, you create a living testament to the invisible threads that weave between your desires and their manifestation. In time, you will discover patterns and connections that were always present but previously hidden from view. Chapter 19: The Covenant of Trust. In the misty dawn along the Mississippi River, Ephraim Slade stood at the helm of his riverboat, facing a choice that would test the depths of his faith. The conventional route lay clearly marked, but an inner voice whispered of a hidden channel, unmarked on any map, that promised abundance beyond measure. You must understand that trust is not blind faith, but rather a knowing beyond seeing. When Ephraim chose to follow that unseen current, he demonstrated the profound truth that your spoken word gains power through absolute trust. The universal mind responds not to the volume of your decree, but to the unwavering trust behind it. Trust is the invisible bridge between your present circumstance and your desired reality. It transforms mere words into living commands that the universe must honor. When you trust completely, you release the need for proof, and in that release, you allow the infinite intelligence to work unhindered. Maud Virginia Ellis lived this truth when her young son vanished without trace. Instead of yielding to despair, she spoke words of certainty each night. "Divine love guides my child safely home." She trusted the unseen forces that govern all life, refusing to doubt even as weeks turned to months. Her trust created an invisible thread that led her son back through a series of remarkable circumstances that no human mind could have orchestrated. Your spoken formula becomes law when sealed with absolute trust. Like a royal decree bearing a sovereign's seal, your words gain authority when stamped with unwavering faith. Trust is not something you create. It is something you allow, like opening your hand to release a clenched fist. Sacred practice. As darkness falls, find solitude in your quietest room, creating a sacred space where your inner voice can speak without distraction. Light a single candle, letting its flame represent the unwavering nature of your trust, steady, bright, and undimmed by doubt or fear. Speak your formula once with clear intention, then sit in profound silence, allowing trust to fill you completely like water filling an empty vessel. Feel the deep certainty that your word has already been received in the invisible realm and is even now being fulfilled through channels you need not understand. Let the candle burn as a testament to your unshakable faith in the unseen forces that guide all creation. Knowing that just as surely as dawn follows dusk, your trust will manifest in divine time and perfect order. Chapter 20: The Sacred Sealing Ritual. Through the flickering candlelight of his workshop, Silas Everhart's skilled hands moved with reverent purpose across silver and stone. For 40 years he had crafted beautiful pieces for others, but this night was different. Tonight he worked to forge something far more precious, a physical anchor for his invisible prayers. You stand now at a sacred threshold, where the unseen must be sealed into the seen. The act of creating a ceremonial token or ritual transforms your spoken formula from ethereal whisper to earthly decree. Just as Silas poured his intentions into precious metal, you too must find ways to anchor your words in the material realm. The universal mind responds with special power to these acts of ceremonial sealing. When you create a physical representation of your spiritual commitment, you declare to both seen and unseen realms that your word is final. This is why ancient traditions have always included ritual elements, not for show, but for sealing. In a small village among rolling hills, Nora Jean Milner understood this truth intuitively. Each month as the moon grew full, she would write her heart's deepest longings on parchment made from local herbs. With quiet certainty, she would bury these written prayers in her garden, knowing that just as seeds must be planted to grow, so must sacred words be sealed in ceremony. The power of sealing lies not in complexity, but in sincerity. Your ritual may be as simple as lighting a candle or as elaborate as crafting a personal talisman. What matters is the solemnity with which you approach this final step, for it marks the moment when you release your words fully into the universal mind's care. Sacred practice. Choose a time when you can be completely alone and undisturbed, ideally during the quiet hours when the veil between worlds grows thin. Write your formula by hand onto paper or parchment, allowing each stroke of the pen to carry the weight of your intention. Create a simple but meaningful ritual that feels true to your spirit, perhaps burying the written words on earth, speaking them under starlight, or inscribing them onto an object you've blessed. You might choose to anoint the paper with sacred oils, seal it with wax, or fold it into sacred geometric patterns. What matters is not the complexity, but the depth of meaning you infuse into each action. Approach this ceremony with the gravity it deserves, for you are signing an invisible contract with the universe itself, marking a profound moment of communion between your conscious desire and the infinite realm of possibility. Part 3. Mastery of the Hidden Word. Chapter 21. Becoming the Formula. In the quiet depths of a mountain valley, Nolan McCrae's forge had fallen silent. After 40 years of hammering metal into shape, he discovered a deeper truth. The strongest transformations happen in stillness. Each morning, he would sit in his workshop, not speaking his desires, but allowing their essence to radiate through his very presence. You have arrived at the pinnacle of this sacred journey. The words that once felt foreign on your tongue have merged with your being. Like water becoming vapor, your formula has transformed from something you do into something you are. The universe responds not just to what you say, but to what you emanate. When your entire being vibrates in harmony with your desire, you no longer need to speak it aloud. Your presence becomes the living decree, more powerful than any spoken word. In the gentle hills of a distant meadow, Adeline Pearl Monroe discovered this truth. For years, she had whispered affirmations of abundance and joy. Then one morning, she simply stopped. Instead of speaking of prosperity, she began to move through her days as prosperity itself. Her gardens flourished, her relationships deepened, and opportunities flowed. Not because she called them forth with words, but because she had become the living embodiment of her desire. This is the highest expression of your sacred formula. The words that once felt like a borrowed garment now flow through your veins. You no longer need to affirm health, you radiate it. You no longer need to speak abundance, you emanate it. You have become the walking, breathing manifestation of your deepest intention. Sacred practice. As the sun rises tomorrow, enter the day in complete silence. Rather than speaking your formula, imagine it radiating from every cell of your being. Move through your activities as though you are already the living expression of your desire. Let your presence speak what words once struggled to convey. Feel each breath draw in more of what you seek to become, and with each exhalation, release any remnants of doubt or hesitation. Walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows their truth so deeply that speaking it would be redundant. In this sacred silence, you will discover that the most powerful affirmation is not spoken, it is lived. For in this wordless state, you transcend the realm of mere intention and step fully into the reality of your deepest aspirations. Chapter 22. The Quantum Leap Principle. In the misty forests of the north, Gideon Pruitt set his traps each dawn with unwavering patience. For 7 years, he whispered the same blessing over each snare, though his catches remained modest. Then one crystalline morning, as frost painted the branches silver, he spoke his familiar words into the silence, and everything changed. By nightfall, his traps held a bounty that would secure his fortune for years to come. You now stand at the threshold of such a moment. The universe operates not by gradual degrees, but through quantum leaps, invisible preparation followed by sudden manifestation. Like water heating degree by degree until it transforms instantly to steam, your spoken words are raising the vibration of your reality until it must shift into a new form. The ancient law reveals that what appears as overnight success is merely the visible tip of an invisible mountain of preparation. Your every utterance has been gathering power, building pressure beneath the surface of what eyes can see. The universe moves like an avalanche, silent preparation, then sudden movement. Witness the tale of Betsy Lou Garland, who blessed her small bakery each morning before dawn. For 3 years, she whispered the same words of abundance while kneading her bread. Nothing seemed to change until the morning a traveling food writer stumbled into her shop. By sunset, her simple bakery had become the talk of 3 counties, with orders flooding in faster than she could fill them. Her sudden success had been rising like bread dough all along, invisible until the moment of perfect readiness. Your own words have been working in similar silence. Each repetition of your formula adds another drop to the vessel of manifestation. Though your eyes may see no change, forces beyond sight are rearranging themselves according to your command. The law is absolute. When the invisible preparation is complete, visible transformation must follow. Sacred practice. Speak your formula in perfect faith, knowing that unseen forces are already in motion. Find a quiet space at dawn or dusk, when the veil between worlds grows thin and sacred words carry greater power. Close your eyes and sense the invisible pressure building with each utterance, like water gathering behind a dam before its inevitable release. Make no attempt to peek at outer conditions or force results. Such doubt only creates resistance to the natural flow of manifestation. Like Gideon's traps and Betsy Lou's bread, your breakthrough gathers power in darkness before bursting into light. The unseen realm works in perfect order, arranging circumstances beyond your knowing. Trust the process that has transformed countless lives before yours, for these ancient principles remain as potent today as they were millennia ago. The moment of manifestation approaches with each whispered word, drawing ever nearer as you maintain unwavering faith in the invisible work being done on your behalf. Chapter 23. Guarding the Sacred Current. In the quiet town of Cedar Grove, Elmer Tate crafted violins with such devotion that musicians traveled from distant lands to acquire his masterpieces. Each morning before dawn, he would enter his workshop, light a single candle, and begin the sacred ritual of tuning. Not a single instrument left his care without perfect pitch, for he understood that excellence demanded protection. Your spoken word carries this same delicate attunement. Like Elmer's violins, your vibration requires constant vigilance and care. When others brought their instruments for repair, Elmer would first ask, "Who has handled this violin?" For he knew that careless hands could undo months of precise calibration. Similarly, your words of power lose their potency when mixed with lower vibrations. The universe responds to pure notes. Every complaint uttered is a string knocked out of tune. Each moment of doubt creates dissonance in your symphony of creation. Gossip and negative speech act as harsh weather to a finely tuned instrument, warping the very substance of your manifestation. In the valley below Cedar Grove lived Susanna Bird, whose prosperity flowed like a spring until she began sharing her sacred practices with skeptics. Their doubt infected her faith, and her blessings dimmed like stars at dawn. Only when she returned to guarding her inner sanctuary did her abundance return, stronger than before. Your formula is a precious inheritance. Like a priceless violin, it must be protected from those who would carelessly handle its power. The words you speak in secret are golden threads weaving your destiny. Let no loose talk unravel their pattern. The ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you will remain undisturbed for 24 hours, a sanctuary where the world's clamor cannot reach you. Light a pure white candle and make a sacred vow of vigilance over your speech, letting the flame witness your commitment. During this time of conscious communion, you will speak only to bless or remain wrapped in the power of silence. Choose and carry a small token, perhaps a crystal, a ring, or a smooth stone, as a physical reminder of your commitment to guard the gateway of your words. When circumstances require you to speak, let each syllable be as deliberately chosen as a note in a master's symphony, each phrase as purposeful as a prayer. This practice of sacred speech will tune your entire being to the highest vibration of your formula, aligning your consciousness with the divine frequencies that manifest your desires. Like the ancient mystics who understood the creative power of the word, you too shall learn the art of sacred silence and blessed speech. Through this discipline of mindful utterance, you become as the sages of old, who knew that each word carried the seeds of creation within its essence. Your voice, when purified by intention and elevated through conscious choice, becomes an instrument of manifestation, a sacred tool through which the universe shapes reality according to your deepest truths. In maintaining this practice, you join an unbroken lineage of wisdom keepers who have preserved these eternal principles since time immemorial. Chapter 24. Silent Prosperity. In a modest workshop at the edge of town, Randolph Stokes mended broken pots and kettles, his skilled hands bringing life back to discarded metal. While others rushed to announce their ambitions, Randolph kept his sacred practice hidden from view. Each morning before sunrise, he would touch every coin that crossed his palm, silently blessing it as a seed of greater abundance to come. You must understand that true wealth abhors announcement. It flows like morning mist into valleys that wait in stillness, gathering in pools of quiet expectation. Those who grasp at prosperity with loud declarations often find it slipping through their fingers like water. But those who command it in whispered certainty watch it accumulate with the inevitability of dew. As months passed, Randolph's quiet blessings began to multiply. Customers appeared as if guided by an unseen hand. His simple repairs turned into commissions for fine metalwork. Yet he maintained his humble demeanor, never speaking of his growing fortune. The universe responds not to volume, but to the unwavering vibration of absolute knowing. In another town, Eulalia James faced empty tables in her bakery day after day. Rather than advertise or complain, she began whispering blessings into each loaf she baked. "Abundance flows through these doors," she would murmur, while kneading dough in the pre-dawn hours. She blessed each customer in silence, seeing her shop filled in her mind's eye. Within weeks, the aroma of her bread drew crowds as if by magnetic force. Still, she spoke not a word of her method, understanding that sacred powers grow best in silence. Your own abundance awaits this same quiet cultivation. The universe's vast storehouse of prosperity responds not to demands or desperate pleas, but to the calm certainty of one who knows their word is law. Like Randolph and Eulalia, you must learn to command your fortune in secret, letting your results speak louder than any proclamation. Sacred practice. Find a private moment at sunrise or sunset when the veil between earthly and celestial realms grows thin. Hold a coin or bill reverently in your hands, closing your eyes in serene confidence as though embracing a sacred talisman. Without speaking aloud, feel the energy of abundance flowing through you into this symbol of prosperity, charging it with the infinite power of your focused intention. See your wealth multiplying in silence, like seeds sprouting beneath dark soil, drawing nourishment from unseen forces. Make this your daily ritual, treating it with the same devoted attention a monk gives to prayer, but speak of it to no one. Your increasing good fortune, manifesting naturally in divine time, will be your only announcement to the world. In this sacred practice of silent cultivation, you align yourself with the ancient laws that have guided prosperity seekers throughout the ages. Chapter 25. Mastering the Invisible Command. In the dim light of a telegraph office, Thaddeus Bell sat before his equipment, fingers poised above the brass key. For years he had transmitted countless messages across the wires, but one day he discovered a deeper truth. Each electrical pulse could carry more than mere words. You now approach a sacred understanding of invisible influence. As Thaddeus tapped out messages, he began infusing each one with silent blessings, knowing that energy follows intention. His quiet practice never drew attention, yet mysteriously, recipients of his transmissions reported unusual strokes of fortune. Through his story, you glimpse how mastery requires no audience. The universal law operates with perfect precision through the unseen. Your whispered command, spoken with unwavering certainty, moves mountains more surely than any visible effort. This truth has echoed through the ages. The invisible realm shapes the visible world. Consider Daisy Lavinia Cobb, whose family faced imminent ruin. Rather than speak of their troubles, she retreated to her garden each dawn. There, among the morning glories, she silently affirmed her family's restoration. She never mentioned her practice, yet within months, a series of unexpected events lifted her family from the edge of disaster to unprecedented prosperity. Through her experience, you learn that silence amplifies power. When you proclaim your intentions to others, you often scatter the very energy needed for manifestation. But in the sacred chamber of silence, your word becomes law. The invisible always precedes the visible. Just as a seed must first crack open in darkness before its shoot reaches daylight, your silent commands work unseen before emerging into form. Trust this process as you would trust the sunrise, not because you can see it happening, but because you understand the immutable law behind it. Sacred practice. Choose one pressing situation in your life that requires profound transformation. Find a quiet moment alone, away from the bustle and noise of the world, and speak your command with absolute authority, knowing the universe must obey your decree. Let your words ring with the power of unshakable truth. Hold this sacred declaration in complete silence, telling no one of your intentions or desires. Let your certainty be absolute and unwavering, for the invisible forces of creation await your direction with perfect obedience. Trust that your command has already set wheels in motion beyond mortal sight. Remember, true power needs no witness, no validation, no outside confirmation. Like the roots that grow unseen beneath the earth, your silent decree works in the depths of divine law, preparing to manifest in divine timing. Chapter 26. The Multiplication of Blessings. In the heart of a flowering valley, Jeremiah Boone tended his honeybees with a wisdom passed down through generations. Each morning before dawn, he would approach a single hive, cup his weathered hands around it, and whisper ancient words of blessing. What began as a modest harvest from that one hive soon multiplied beyond measure, as if the very essence of abundance had taken root in his apiary. You must understand that Jeremiah never sought to control or force this multiplication. His whispered blessing was like a key that unlocked nature's own desire to multiply. Soon, not only did his original hive overflow with golden honey, but new colonies spontaneously appeared, each one stronger than the last. The air itself seemed charged with the hum of prosperity. When you align perfectly with universal law, effort diminishes while rewards multiply exponentially. This truth echoes through every cell of creation, the way a single seed yields 100 flowers, or one kind word ripples outward in endless circles of blessing. In a distant mountain town, Cordelia Wright discovered this same principle through her small roadside inn. Each evening, she would stand in the empty dining room, speaking words of welcome and abundance into the silence. She blessed not the entire establishment at once, but began with a single corner table. That table soon became known for hosting the most fortunate of meetings, where travelers found unexpected opportunities and healing conversations. The blessing spread of its own accord, table by table, room by room, until her modest inn transformed into a sanctuary sought out by weary souls from distant lands. Cordelia never advertised, never promoted. She simply maintained her practice of blessing what was before her, watching in quiet wonder as prosperity multiplied itself. These stories reveal a profound truth. Abundance, once properly channeled, becomes self-sustaining and self-multiplying. Like a river that has found its natural course, it requires no forcing or straining. Your role is simply to establish the initial alignment through conscious blessing. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment at sunrise or sunset. when the veil between worlds grows thin and the universe's abundance flows most freely. Choose one small blessing already present in your life, perhaps a flower, a coin, or a kind word recently received. Let this humble token represent the seed of greater prosperity to come. Cup your hands gently around this blessing and whisper these sacred words with reverent intention. In the silence of this moment, I bless what is before me. As nature multiplies her gifts, so too does this blessing multiply, flowing outward in ever-widening circles of abundance. Feel the energy of your blessing rippling outward like waves on still water, touching all aspects of your existence. Repeat this blessing daily for 7 days, allowing each day to build upon the previous one's power. Watch with quiet wonder how this single point of gratitude begins to multiply itself in unexpected ways, drawing similar blessings into your sphere through the magnetic power of appreciation. Chapter 27. Awakening the Eternal Word Within. In the mist-wrapped hours before dawn, Barnabas Crane walked among the headstones, not as one who tended death, but as one who had glimpsed an eternal truth. You see, his daily rounds became more than mere duty. They transformed into a sacred pilgrimage to hear what whispered beneath all outer ceremonies. Through years of silent service, Barnabas discovered that while his lips spoke the traditional prayers over each grave, something deeper was trying to emerge from within him. One morning, as the first light painted the stones in gold, he ceased his memorized prayers and simply listened. In that holy silence he heard it, a word so pure, so personally his, that it seemed to have waited lifetimes to be remembered. You must understand that within you dwells such a word, a divine note that your soul has carried since before time began. This is not a formula to be learned, but a truth to be remembered. It lies deeper than all studied affirmations, more ancient than all borrowed prayers. Consider Lavinia Snow, who spent years reciting others' wisdom until one quiet afternoon, while mending in her garden, she heard her own soul's song. The change that followed was not like turning a page, but like remembering who she had always been. Her life rearranged itself not through effort, but through recognition. This inner word is your original blessing, the sacred sound that aligns perfectly with your unique destiny. It has been waiting, patient as a seed in winter, for you to grow still enough to hear it. When found, it requires no repetition or ritual. It simply is, as you simply are. Now, in sacred stillness, you are invited to listen beyond thought, beyond memory, beyond all outer teaching. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and let your breath become as soft as moonlight on water. Listen not with your ears, but with your entire being. Your soul's word, your original formula, waits in that silence, ready to be remembered. Practice. Sit in complete stillness for at least 30 minutes, allowing your breath to become as gentle as a summer breeze. Let all borrowed words, all learned wisdom, all accumulated knowledge fall away like autumn leaves. Listen with your heart, not straining but opening, until you sense that one word or phrase that feels as familiar as your own heartbeat, as natural as the rhythm of waves upon the shore. This is the sacred utterance that has always been yours alone, waiting in the depths of your being since before time began. When it arises, unbidden and pure, receive it with the reverence of one who has discovered a precious jewel buried in ancient soil. Know that this word carries within it the divine spark of creation, the power to align your life with its highest purpose, and the key to unlocking the treasures that have always been destined for you. Chapter 28. Becoming a Silent Creator. In the quiet corners of a small village lived Archibald Clegg, whose weathered hands held secrets the earth could not resist. Wherever he walked, flowers stretched toward the sun with impossible vigor. Vegetables grew plump beyond their season, and fruit trees bent heavy with abundance. Yet he never spoke of his methods, never offered explanations for the miraculous transformations that followed in his wake. You must understand that true power moves like the morning dew, invisible until its effects become undeniable. Archibald's silence was not modesty, but mastery. He knew, as you must learn, that the universe responds most powerfully to those who command without announcement, who create without seeking credit. The law works through invisible channels, shaping reality with hands that leave no trace. Your words, when spoken in sacred silence, become the invisible architects of tomorrow's manifestations. Each quiet declaration plants seeds in the fertile soil of infinite possibility, requiring no witness save the universal mind itself. Consider now Henrietta Cole, whose life transformed through whispered intentions in her private chamber. Love found her without dating services, prosperity flowed without business plans, and healing came without public proclamation. Those around her witnessed the changes, but never glimpsed their source. Her power remained veiled, growing stronger precisely because it remained unannounced. What others saw as coincidence, you will recognize as the fingerprints of silent mastery. The universe honors those who work in secret, who trust the invisible laws enough to let results speak for themselves. Your power multiplies when you release the need for others to understand its workings. Sacred practice. Choose one desire that burns brightest in your heart, a yearning that pulses through your being like a sacred flame. Hold it in sacred silence for 7 days, guarding it as precisely as an ancient secret passed down through generations. Speak your formula of manifestation only when alone in your private sanctuary, letting no hint of your intention escape your lips into the world of form. Trust with unwavering faith that the universe is already arranging unseen forces in response to your silent command, orchestrating a grand design beyond mortal comprehension. Watch with quiet certainty as reality bends to meet your unspoken decree, knowing that your silence itself is a demonstration of power. For those who truly understand the sacred laws need not proclaim them. When manifestation occurs, as it surely must, let others marvel at the mystery while you hold the sacred knowledge of its source, knowing that in your dignified silence lies the very seed of your mastery. This is the way of those who have walked this path before you, those who learned that the greatest magic often moves in whispered breaths rather than thunderous declarations. Chapter 29. The 100th Breath. In the dusty outskirts of a growing town, Jebediah Rhodes stood before an impossible chasm. The townspeople had declared a bridge across this divide would never stand, yet Jebediah knew a truth deeper than their doubts. With each nail he drove into the wooden beams, he whispered an ancient blessing, not for show, but from an understanding that physical and spiritual laws work in perfect harmony. As you walk this sacred path, Understand that Jebediah's revelation came not from the first nail nor the 50th, but from his unwavering devotion to completion. Each strike of his hammer carried the same faith as the first, until the 100th nail sealed more than wood to wood. It sealed a covenant with the universe itself. The law of faithful repetition stands as one of the universe's most potent mysteries. Your word, spoken once, plants a seed. Spoken 100 times with unwavering faith, it commands the very fabric of reality to reshape itself according to your decree. Consider now the tale of Tallulah May Branson, whose small farmhouse stood empty and cold after years of misfortune. Each morning, before the sun touched the horizon, she would speak her sacred formula into the silence. Not with desperation, but with the calm certainty of one who knows the law. On the morning of her 100th declaration, a letter arrived carrying news that would transform her circumstances forever. You see, the universe keeps a perfect count of your faithful utterances. Each repetition builds upon the last, gathering momentum in the unseen realms until manifestation becomes inevitable. The 100th repetition often marks the threshold where invisible becomes visible, where faith transforms into fact. Your sacred formula, spoken with devotion 100 times, becomes more than words. It becomes a bridge between worlds, just as Jebediah's 100th nail completed more than a physical structure. It completed a testament to the power of sustained faith. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed, a sanctuary where your words may echo into the infinite. Take your chosen formula, that perfect declaration of what shall be, and commit to speaking it 100 times with full presence and joy. Let each word flow from your lips like honey, sweet with anticipation. Mark each repetition not as a task to complete, but as a sacred nail being driven into the foundation of your new reality, just as the ancient builders consecrated every stone they laid. Feel the growing power as each utterance builds upon the last, sensing the invisible threads of manifestation weaving ever tighter, knowing that completion draws near with every breath. Your voice joins the eternal chorus of those who have spoken their truth into being before you. Celebrate the 100th, speaking as the final seal upon your decree. For in this moment, you have planted a seed in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Chapter 30. The Hidden Legacy You Now Hold. You now stand at the threshold of mastery, where the wisdom of ages converges in your own sacred practice. Let us speak of Cornelius Pike, a humble weaver in a mountain village who understood the true nature of creation. Each morning before dawn, Cornelius would sit at his loom, weaving not just threads, but whispered blessings into every tapestry. He never spoke of the prayers he wove into the fabric, yet those who received his works found their lives transformed in mysterious ways. Children who slept beneath his blankets grew wise beyond their years. Homes adorned with his tapestries became sanctuaries of peace and prosperity. Even after Cornelius departed this world, his creations continued working their quiet magic, touching lives across generations. His hands had ceased their weaving, but his whispered words still shaped reality. You have now inherited this sacred understanding, that words spoken in divine alignment echo through time itself. Like Cornelius, you possess the power to set in motion forces that will touch countless lives, seen and unseen. Consider Wilhelmina Greer, who lived in a small coastal town. Each morning at first light, she would walk to the edge of the sea and whisper blessings for the children of tomorrow. She never sought recognition, never spoke of her practice. Yet decades after she passed, fishermen still tell tales of mysterious good fortune in waters where she once prayed. Gardens still bloom more abundantly where her feet once trod. Her whispered words, aligned with universal law, created ripples of blessing that continue to expand. You now grasp what these silent masters knew: that true power needs no witness, that words spoken in sacred solitude shape the very fabric of tomorrow. Through your mastery of the inner formula, you join this timeless lineage of those who understood that every whispered blessing plants seeds in the garden of eternity. Sacred practice. In the quiet hours before dawn, find a place of solitude. Close your eyes and allow your heart to sense the generations yet to come. Choose one blessing, one sacred declaration that you will whisper daily as your gift to the future. Speak it not for recognition, but as a silent offering to time itself. Let this be your legacy, words of power echoing through the corridors of tomorrow, touching lives you will never see, creating ripples of transformation that extend far beyond your own time. In this sacred act of blessing the future, you become a bridge between what is and what shall be. Your whispered intentions, pure and untainted by the need for acclaim, carry within them the seeds of infinite possibility. Like the ancient mystics who came before you, your quiet devotion becomes a thread in the grand tapestry of universal consciousness, weaving patterns of light that will illuminate paths not yet walked. Conclusion. You have crossed the threshold. The inner formula is no longer something you read about. It now lives in your breath, your mind, and your unseen commands. Each whispered word carries the weight of ancient wisdom. Each silent decree shapes the invisible architecture of tomorrow. The power you now wield requires no validation from the outer world. It flows from the depths of your aligned being. In your hands rests a legacy older than time itself, the knowledge that reality bends to the silent command, not the loud proclamation. You have learned to speak with the voice that moves mountains, not through force, but through the quiet certainty that comes from union with universal law. Know this: what you have discovered here is only the first key. There are deeper mysteries, greater formulas, and still more sacred truths that await you when you are ready. The universe reveals its secrets gradually to those who prove themselves worthy through faithful practice and humble devotion. For now, walk forward as a silent master, letting your secret whispers shape the stars themselves. Your word, spoken in sacred solitude, carries more power than 1,000 public declarations. You have joined the sacred lineage of those who know. Destiny bends not to noise, but to the one who commands in secret. Let others search for complicated rituals and elaborate ceremonies. You have found the simple truth that lies at the heart of all power. Your aligned word, spoken with unwavering faith, is the lever that moves worlds. In your silence lies your strength. In your secret practice lies your power. Remember, true mastery requires no audience. The universe hears what is spoken in the chamber of your heart more clearly than what is shouted from the mountaintops. Continue your sacred practice with the quiet confidence of one who knows the secret machinery of creation. Your journey doesn't end here. Click on this next audiobook that I promise will completely transform your perspective.